on. So I did join the game jam, but decided to take the time off. It's been going on for I think 6 days now, the game jam, and it was basically a theme about dogs and being a good humanitarian for dogs, not testing dogs for trials and things of that sort. But I had a plan as far as what the game was going to be about. Basically, it was going to be a rescue dog from a veteran. It was going to take place in war. A little bit into in the start at the beginning of the game where you're into like an actual battlefield and then the dog gets injured and then goes to a loving home. But and then after that, I didn't really figure out what it was going to be like. Um, I did have the ideas or the idea of potentially, you know, um, after the dog is sent to a rescue home and picked up from a loving family, that the person that fell in love with the dog was in love with cars, and you guys know that how much I love cars. So it was going to be basically a racing game, and in the racing game the dog was going to be in the passenger seat with his with his head outside the window, smiling all the time, where you're basically racing. Um, and and then that's basically as far as I got in the idea. But um, what you call it, this Monday, I have all the material ready that I need. I am going to be doing a rust repair, rear quarter panel, slight bubbling that's there, slight bubbling that's on the fender well on the rear quarter panel. This is on the driver's side. A dent that's on the rear quarter passenger side. Some scratches that are on the hood that were touched up by touch up paint, but have to be blended in. Rock chips on the front bumper. I have to fix the front bumper. That was my fault. So when I was parking during an inventory uh station in, where was that? About a 10-minute, 15-20 minute drive from where I'm currently living. I basically I hit one of those curb stomps that for that lets you know that you're basically about to hit the curb when you're parked. And you all know that the CRZ sits low as it is, and I'm not running on stock height tires. I'm running 55s, so it's a little bit lower than it is now. And basically, as you obviously can think of, but got a little too close, so it grasps the bottom of the bumper, and when I put it back in reverse, it basically pulled the bumper out a little bit. So it's misaligned. It's pulled out a little bit. So I'm wondering if I pull it out, clip it all back in. That should fix it, hopefully. Um, and then what else? So Monday, the plan is to fix all the rust, paint, and pull out the dents. And Thursday of next week, when it's going to be not so cold, not raining, um, cut and buff the paint basically, just to get everything ready to go. And other than that, that should take care of basically the rust. Get the car prepped for the rims, which you guys still haven't seen. So most likely the rims will go on either next week on the weekend or the following week after the paint has cured and everything is ready to go. But it's most likely going to be not next week, but the following week on my day off, where I'll install the hub centric rings, the wheel locks, and get a car wash and get the car looking all nice. I'll take some. We'll go to a nice spot. Take some pictures and. Um, I'll potentially maybe do a live feed, on the whole trip of going to the car wash and, just going to the nice spot, nice drive and stuff. As far as the colder intake, so I still got another 5 minutes before I gotta head into work. But uh, as far as the colder intake, it's been holding up. No issues there. One other issue we got to take care of is the coolant thermostat still needs to be tackled. The coolant needs to be bled. Um, what else? Oh yeah, the purge valve solenoid's making a ticking noise. But I guess it's very common with the CRZs. So that part I think is like basically $100, maybe 45-minute job. Just because I've never done it before. It seems pretty accessible, but couple bolts, couple clips, and then once that is done, that should fix more of the ticking issue. That sounds almost like the valves, but the valves have been adjusted and checked. And then other than that, oh yeah, the clutch is slipping in first gear, so I'm saving up for that. I'm going to be going with stage two um, spec D with clutch master flywheel and new clutch fork, new flywheel bolts, new assembly, new bushing, new rear main seal, new input shaft seals. Um, Potentially getting new mounts for the engine trans, and then from there, um, the clutch I'm figuring out right now that I can still it's drivable, and I've been able to figure out to get it to where I can still drive it. So it's not that big of a concern. But I'm slowly going to be start saving up and into an account and just throwing money into it, just to get prepared for when it does happen. And other than that, I really want to go airbag suspension, but I'm in the loop right now where I was thinking about doing the supercharger kit, the HKS GT2 supercharger kit, and then building the motor. But that's going to be probably 8 grand to 10 grand, and I can spend really another 20 grand, do the K20 swap or K series swap. Still keep the emission friendly, more reliable, more boost, more power. Um, but then if I was to do that, I'm thinking this motor's still relatively brand new. It's still baby, 112,000 miles. So, uh, depending on the launch of the Cybercab, if it comes out nicely, haven't decided if I'm either going to go with the Model Y for the winter with an all-wheel drive or the Cybercab. But basically it all comes down to that point, because if I do end up going with the cyber cab, I'll K swap the CRZ and just drive it kind of heavily and for fun right now. um and then uh if the cyber cab does not come out for us consumers, then I'll probably end up maybe pulling the trigger on a used Model Y, maybe a new Model Y. Haven't really decided yet. Um, and then if I don't end up getting any Tesla in the winter time, I may end up getting another CRZ, basically like a fixer upper, and then contact some shops as far as doing a case swap, getting prices, and then going from there. Um, and again, that all comes down to if I get the Tesla or not in December. But other than that, if I do go the airbag suspension route for this Z, then that's going to be roughly about 5 grand to get it done. And if I want to save money, I could do the BC coilovers, and all I would have to buy from Amazon is basically a small impact gun to do it myself, basically. Otherwise, it's going to probably be maybe, I don't know, $500 to have it done. Um, but then again, it has to, find adjustments and stuff like that. And I think with the BC coilovers, I wouldn't be able to get the look that I'm looking for. So again, I have to, figure out the measurements and stuff like that. But um, yeah, other than that, that's what's really been going on. Um, uh, Yeah, so I'm probably gonna be doing videos maybe every once in a while here for the next maybe, let's say, 2 weeks. Um, Potentially going to be getting a new laptop as well, maybe switching over to a personal desktop, a little bit more power. But other than that, hope you guys have a good Friday, have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care. Bye.